This evening on Vintage Vittles, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious and savory yet light 100-year-old egg and pork congee. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is get our rice and pork prepared. For the pork, we're just going to add a pinch of salt, a teaspoon of cornstarch. This is just something my mom would always do. It kind of makes the meat more tender. As far as I'm concerned, cornstarch is the most patriotic ingredient you can use in a recipe. By the way, this is actually a little bit over a pound of pork. You don't have to use this much. This makes a big pot of congee that serves about 4. We just had this left over from a recipe we made the other night. Set that aside to rest as we prepare the rice. Okie dokes. We're gonna prepare a quick marinade for the rice, which is just water, oil, and some salt. Marinade. This method gives you more consistent porridge-like consistency. You're gonna add a generous helping, maybe about a teaspoon, of cooking oil of your choice. This is a little bit over a cup of rice. Just add a pinch of salt and just enough water to get things soaking. Alrighty, we're gonna set those aside and get to chopping some garnishes and the rest of our ingredients.
Time for the special ingredient.
Okay, time for a little background. These are century eggs. Essentially, they're preserved duck eggs. Someone found out that if you just leave duck eggs in a pond that happens to have clay and ash in it, some chemical magic happens. The eggs get really dark and the yolk turns into this super smooth, buttery consistency while the outside gets dark crystal jelly. Just check them out, they're pretty rad.
So, weird looking ingredient, but I guarantee you, if you have a bit of the interior, Dennis, come here.
I'd say it tastes like roasted butter.
It's literally just burying eggs in ash and clay for a bit. Is it cooked? Or does this just happen?
Can't explain it, Brenton. It just happens.
Yeah, it just happens. But anyway, we're gonna add 2 of these to our recipe. You can add as many as you want, but they're kind of expensive, so we're gonna add 2. Just chop them up. Just so that each bowl of congee gets some nice chunks. Unless you're degenerate, you probably don't want to use a butter knife. We're a little different here.
It's as sharp as our chef knife anyway.
You need to set these aside until the rest of the congee is ready. So we have our 1,000-year egg and other ingredients set aside. The beautiful thing about this is by the time this water gets to a boil, all our stuff should be ready to add in. And if you have any leftover stock or anything you need to find use for, go ahead and add this now. While you are still waiting for that pot of water to boil, feel free to cut up some garnishes. You know, this is a very light breakfast dish, pretty much. Not any spice because it gets really hot in Hong Kong, and the last thing you want to do is, you know, get dehydrated. This horseradish was actually supposed to be ginger, but I totally bought the wrong root. It could still be a really interesting spice addition. Should still be pretty bracing. Once your water and stock gets to a nice rolling boil, you're gonna go ahead and add in that marinated rice mixture. In general, it's about a half cup of rice to, let's say, 8 cups of water or stock. As long as you follow that ratio, it's really hard to mess up. You can always have more rice if you like a thicker congee, less if you like it a little more watery and light. We're gonna let it boil for about 10 minutes and really cook that rice, and then let it simmer for another 40 after that. Our congee is starting to get some thickness, so I decided to add some leftover rice. Since day-old rice is actually perfect for congee. Add some scallion whites for flavor. 10 more minutes of simmering and we can add the good stuff. Alrighty, we're gonna add the final portions, marinated minced pork. Every, 5 minutes or so, give it a stir. Famous 100-year egg. We're gonna add these as fresh garnishes at the end. Horseradish, some more scallion whites, and then sesame oil, salt, and scallion green. Little dice that I made. Okay, simmer that for like 8 or 10 more minutes and it should be done. You can see it's at this nice porridgey consistency. This is just about perfect. I'm gonna give a little taste and salt.
We don't taste our food on vittles. In real life you should.
But we're perfect.
Exactly.
Alrighty, let's get these into bowls and garnish. Big pot of home cooked congee, 3 bowls.
3 boys.
All the garnish we had on that board went and threw onto the hot congee. That's that fresh green onion with the sesame oil and some salt. Diced horseradish or ginger that you can add at the end as well. If someone has an upset stomach or is recovering from a cold, this is the stuff to make for them.
Yeah, this is like, feels like Chinese chicken soup.
Oh yeah. Good for the soul. So if we had made this with like a pork bone broth, I think it'd be even better.
It's hard to make it better because it's a very subtle dish.
Yeah.
Right? Like we easily could have blasted it with like soy sauce and spices and stuff, but then it wouldn't really be congee anymore.
Make sure you get the egg bit first. You gotta taste the butteriness.
Well, we're gonna enjoy these.
See you next time. Eat them with chopsticks, I dare you.
Yeah, it's possible.